The Michigan Wolverines defeated Rutgers 52-17. That final score probably doesn't surprise many people, but I'm sure the first half did. Michigan was down several players in this game, including Ryan Hayes, Trente Jones, Roman Wilson, Makari Page, Jalen Harrell, and Jaden McBurrows. The game started pretty much how we all thought it would. The Wolverines got the ball first and drove right down the field for a touchdown. The very first play from scrimmage was a play-action pass to Ronnie Bell for 35 yards. Those of us who have been wanting to see more from the passing game were loving that. Then Blake Corum took one to the house from 33 yards out, but it was called back for an illegal formation. But a few plays later, Blake Corum ended up getting into the end zone, and that one counted. And then when Rutgers got the ball, they went 3 and out. All right, this game is going super well, exactly what we expected, right? Well, on Michigan's next drive, they decided to run up the middle on 3rd and 4 for some reason from their own 35-yard line. That play went for no gain, forcing Michigan to punt, and then Rutgers blocked the punt and returned it for a touchdown. And I said out loud, that's what you get for running the ball up the middle on 3rd and 4 from your own 35-yard line. After a failed surprise onside kick by Rutgers, Blake Corum had a 43-yard run down to the 7-yard line, giving Michigan a 1st and goal, and they eventually scored a touchdown to go up 14-7, but it was frustrating to watch Michigan's goal line offense. The Wolverines just kept running the ball up the middle over and over and over, assuming they'd be able to push Rutgers around for the score, but it wasn't as easy as they thought it would be. On Rutgers' next drive, Gavin Wimsatt made a couple of nice throws, leading to a Scarlet Knights field goal. And on their next possession, they had a 48-yard completion, which led to a touchdown. And for Michigan, Jake Moody missed 2 50-yard field goals in the first half. Add that all up, and it was hard to believe, but Michigan was actually losing to Rutgers at halftime, 17-14. Like most Michigan fans, I was pretty disgusted with what I saw in the first half. I believe that's probably the worst half of football that Michigan has played all season. Awful special teams, not great pass defense, out of sync passing game on offense, questionable at best play calling. But the two constants for Michigan remain the same: a great run defense and an excellent rushing offense. Michigan did take a couple of shots in the first half. I believe that Andrew Anthony probably could have caught that ball from J.J. McCarthy. Overall, at halftime, I wasn't really worried. I'm sure that most of the fans also were not worried. The Wolverines have been a second half team all season long. Whether or not that ends up biting them in the ass, I guess we'll see. And just like clockwork, Michigan turned it on in the third quarter. They outscored the Scarlet Knights 38-0 in the second half. Here's a list of Rutgers' second half drives: punt, interception, pick six, punt, interception, punt, 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 turnover on downs. Michael Barrett had a pair of those interceptions, including the one that was returned for a touchdown. Freshman Will Johnson had the other one, and that's his first career pick at Michigan. When the Wolverines were on offense, I kept finding myself saying, pass the ball, pass the ball. We could see in the first half that the opportunities were there, and Michigan did start the second half with some passing, including a 14-yard touchdown to Donovan Edwards, and then they added a touchdown pass to Cornelius Johnson a few drives later after the interceptions. The second half showed a lot more balance in the Wolverines' attack, especially in the red zone. Final score, Michigan 52, Rutgers 17. Michigan held Rutgers to only 5 first downs in this game, and the one stat that continues to jump off the screen in every Michigan game is the rushing yards. 282 to 14, 5.3 per carry to 0.7. And as usual, Michigan wins the time of possession battle. Again, it wasn't a huge passing day for Michigan. J.J. McCarthy only had 151 yards, and the two-headed monster at running back, Corum and Edwards, had 109 yards each. The top takeaway from this game is that second half Michigan can compete with any team in the country. First half Michigan could get the team into trouble against good teams. There's still a ways to go in the passing game, but there were improvements. JJ puts the ball exactly where he needs to on pretty much anything short and intermediate, and his deep balls were mostly good in this game too. Drops by the receivers didn't help things. Another takeaway is that you cannot run on Michigan, period. 14 rushing yards allowed to Rutgers, 37 rushing yards allowed to Michigan State, 111 to Penn State, and 60 of that was on Sean Clifford's run, 19 rushing yards by Indiana, 35 rushing yards by Iowa, and we can just keep going back. Michigan does not allow teams to run the ball on them. It feels like Michigan hasn't even come close to reaching its potential yet, but at the same time, there's not really a lot of time to reach that potential. There are only a few games left. Up next, Michigan hosts Nebraska, and it's the Wolverines' first 3:30 game of the season. If you're a Michigan football fan, then please subscribe to the channel, and as always, go blue.